Hello everyone, my name is Marzie and I'm a third-year PhD student in Yolanda Hedberg's lab studying at the University of Western Ontario. Basically, I use different instruments including TOF-SIMS, FESCM, STEM, and electrochemical measurements to analyze gold nanoparticles and nanoclusters and their interaction with biomolecules such as cysteine in the physiological environment. I aim to investigate the possibility of using nanomaterials to increase the efficiency of radiation therapy and improve the cancer treatment. I was one of the awardees in the first round of the CREATE program, and I aimed to go to the Chalmers University of Technology in Gothenburg, Sweden for my mobility. The purpose of my travel was to use nanosims, which could allow me to image my nanomaterials with a high resolution down to 50 nanometer and an excellent collection efficiency, which is combined with sufficient mass resolution. In my research plan, the biggest opportunity for me would have been working with more nano-instrumentations, collaborating with more scientists measuring in the same area, and learning new software and instruments. So as an international student who needs a visa to travel abroad, I applied for a Swedish visiting permit. This procedure was clearly a breeze for the officers. I mean, why rush? It only took them a whopping 6 months to make a decision, and of course, it's always a rejection. So thanks to their prompt decision, I don't have much time left to consider another country. Plan B in my case would be an internship in Canada that could benefit my future career. However, this failure directed me to an overview of several things. Just a friendly heads up, international students, please be aware of visa rejection rates of the targeted destination. For example, Sweden has the second highest rejection rate among Schengen countries with nearly 30% rejection on visa applications. That's impressive, right? Secondly, ensure your application is flawless in every way, just like mine was. So clearly the tip was pure gold to me. More importantly, CREATE needs a 2-part course to be taken by its awardees. The title of the course is CEDES, which is a short form of corrosion, equity, diversity, environment, and society, in which equity refers to fair treatment for all people so that the norm, practices, and policies in place ensure identity is not predictive of opportunities or workplace outcomes. And diversity is the presence of different cultures, backgrounds, identities, and perspectives within society. So I believe I wanted to investigate the profound impact of corrosion in various societies with different diversities, but I failed at the very first step by being given the honor of rejection to start the investigation. Visa rejection could have had various reasons. In my case, they wanted me to take a road trip to the embassy in Ottawa just to find out the top secret reason for rejection. But you know, I have already had the pleasure of dedicating half a year for their final decision. So let's believe that my sheer brilliance at being Middle Eastern was clearly too much for them to handle. Global number of active sanctions increased significantly from 1949 to 2022. Different types of sanctions have different impacts on science. For example, travel restrictions limit person-to-person contacts, restricting opportunities for collaborating and interaction at international meetings, and creating gaps in knowledge between researchers in different countries. Geopolitics is a complex phenomenon that doesn't consider individuals and yet affects them the most. Unfortunately, efforts to address its challenges have been greatly hindered by numerous international conflicts and alliances, which have significantly delayed potential solutions. But let's seize this opportunity and talk about other potential biases. Overall, biases are mental shortcuts shaped by our culture, experiences, external influences, and social media. The shortcuts lead us to make automatic associations when encountering situations or people, often resulting in incorrect perceptions and assumptions. There are several ways to mitigate bias, like take the perspective of someone who faces different systematic barriers in the research ecosystem. Use specific information about the person who wrote the application to prevent group stereotypes for leading to potentially inaccurate assumptions. Think about a stereotype that you hold and consciously replace it with accurate information. Spend enough time evaluating each application and try to do this evaluation for the entirety of the application. You can evaluate your judgment regularly and consider whether evaluation biases are influencing your decision. So in the previous parts, I talked mostly about the equity principles and how it can be challenging for some of scientists. I shared my experience of being rejected to enter a country in Europe to continue my research for a while, and that incident interests me in a scientist's obstacles through the history. So let's start with Katherine Johnson, an African-American woman born in 1918. She was an exceptional mathematician whose contributions were significant to early space exploration in the United States. She faced numerous challenges in a field dominated by white men. Johnson faced racial segregation and discrimination prevalent during her time at NASA. She was often excluded from important meetings or discussions. In addition to racial barriers, Johnson encountered gender discrimination. Women in scientific roles were often overlooked and undervalued, limiting their opportunities for advancement and recognition. Johnson and other African American women at NASA remained largely unrecognized for decades. Their stories and achievements were not widely known until much later, with the film Hidden Figures shedding light on their pivotal role in the space program. Johnson's legacy continues to inspire future generations, highlighting the importance of recognizing and celebrating the contributions of individuals regardless of their race and gender. And of course, men are not excluded from these biases, like Subrahmanian Chandrasekhar, who was an Indian astrophysicist, and for sure he was a brilliant astrophysicist who made significant contributions to our understanding of stellar evolution and black holes. In the 1930s, he was invited to join the University of Chicago as a faculty member. However, upon arrival in the United States in 1937, he faced resistance due to his Indian nationality. Despite being offered a position, he encountered strong opposition from the University of Chicago's then president and influential physicist. He was denied a full professorship due to the discriminatory attitudes prevalent at the time. Despite this setback, Chandrasekhar continued his research and eventually became a distinguished scientist, receiving numerous awards, including the Nobel Prize in Physics in 1983 for his work on the structure and evolution of stars. His case is an example of how even brilliant scientists faced obstacles and discrimination due to nationality or ethnicity, emphasizing the importance of addressing biases in academia and scientific institutions. I went through the biases and the way of mitigation, however, I wanted to also mention, although the subjective judgments exert significant power and can profoundly affect a person's life, it's crucial to recognize that not all officers operate with bias. Finally, I believe that my plan was not rejected, it was redirected, and I'm pretty sure that I will be successful in my academic journey and later in my career life. However, this little setback simply serves as a gentle reminder that I must strive even harder, not only due to my identity, but also as a helpful boost to appreciate my own accomplishments.